Australia is one of the more popular destinations for tourists around the world. Has a lot to offer and it is easy to tour around within the country and also generally a safe place to travel. And here I'd like to share with you some tips and tricks from my experiences when planning a road trip there. The first tip is the advantage of taking a return flight from a different city state from where you first landed, or in short, a multiple cities flight. An example is to fly into Melbourne and fly back home from Sydney. And the price of such airfare is not more expensive. You'll be surprised that a lot of travelers still think that it is cheaper to buy a direct return flight from the same location. And the benefit of flying back from a different state is obvious because in a road trip, you save a lot of time traveling back just to take a return flight home, which equates to more time to play than driving. To me, accommodation is one of the more important aspects of our travels. And so far, over 70 to 80% of our lodging were Airbnb. Personally, I think Australia has one of the most established and extensive portfolio of properties in this platform. Unlike hotels, staying in homes like this means there are common areas where your family can spend more quality time together, and most of the time, also a kitchen for you to prepare your meals. Of course, not all Airbnb are the same. For instance, this kitchen is basically just a pantry area for you to prepare basic meals like heating up instant food or making coffee and tea, while others may provide a more fully functional kitchen. And these homes mostly provide private parking area for your rental vehicle. Else usually the side parking along these residential streets are mostly free. Another point I really appreciate in staying in these suburbs home is the chance to blend into the local culture. This is actually a very typical Australian home you are seeing here. And like mentioned, every Airbnb is different. It really depends on what you want and what your budget are. Saying that, it is not hard to find good properties with reasonable price. Like this fantastic 4-bedroom house facing the lake. Here we are traveling in a group of 5 adults and 3 children. The cost per adult is below 100 Aussie dollar per night, which in my opinion is crazy affordable for a house with such a view. And if you are not a lake person, how about this hidden gem within the woods? So far, I haven't encountered any bad experience with Airbnb. But saying that, it is still our responsibility to do a thorough research, like checking the reviews of the properties and hosts. Apart from Airbnb, we also stay in holiday lodges and cottages, which you'll be able to book directly through their business website or a third-party marketing agent like Agoda or Hotel.com.
Biggest?
Yes, the huge.
No, is there such a word?
Huge.
Hugest.
Oh,
No, the best thing is the balcony. Can you help me open the balcony?
you may come in. Actually, I haven't really seen the bathroom.
I do recommend spending some effort to source for a comfortable home, as I think accommodation really play a big part, and in a lot of occasions, accommodation is treated as one of the main highlights in our travel. Finally, staying in a hotel. This is actually my least preferred choice. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with staying in a hotel, and in a way you can argue that they have the best professional service standard. But to me, most of the time a hotel room is really just a hotel room. So why did I choose to stay in a hotel in Perth City? Because it is near to the places I intend to visit. I know I will be spending most of my time outdoor and only coming back to sleep. And it is easier to access to restaurants for dinner in the city than in suburbs.
The bathroom. We've got a bathtub. This big room with a pool.
And one important thing to take note is, parking in most hotels in the city are not free. It can easily cost you above 50 Aussie dollar per day. A tip for you is some hotels will charge you a flat fee after a certain hour like 6 p.m. And in my case, if I remember correctly, it is 15 Aussie dollar, and that is provided if you leave the hotel before a specific timing the next morning, before the hourly parking fee resume. Another way to save some money is to find a street parking near your hotel. In the city, most street parkings is free from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. And if you really want to stay in the city with free parking without all the hassles, you can also source for an Airbnb apartment in the city, which come with free parking within the condo apartment itself, just like the one we are staying here in Melbourne. Australia's city street parking sign can be confusing. This is a typical one. The easy part is, from Monday to Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. parking fee apply. And if you're not from here, the 1p may be confusing to you. It means at any one time you can only park here for the maximum of 1 hour. And in some streets, it only allows you to park a maximum of half an hour. The reason is to discourage anyone from parking here for too long, as there are limited street parking in the city. And after figuring out what the signs say, you'll find these parking ticket machines on the street. You pay, get a ticket, and display it on the dashboard. And if you really need to park for a longer period of time, you'll need to locate car parks under car parking management company such as Wilson. Well, car rental may not be necessary if you're only spending time in the city area, in which the public transport system is mostly efficient enough for you to get around. But personally, I can't imagine going to Australia without a road trip. After all, this is where the fun and adventures start. Car rental is mostly quite a straightforward process. You pick the rental company and choose the right car for yourself, and that's it. One thing worth to take note is, if you're traveling in a big group, other than catering vehicles enough for passengers, planning for luggage space is extremely important as well. As you can see here, we almost run out of space. Another very important point which I would like to highlight here is the damage fee and the damage fee waiver. Damage fee means maximum amount of fee you're liable if there's any damage due to a fault. In this instance, it is 4,000 Aussie dollar, which would be first debited from a card, and it will be credited back to your account if there's no damage. Just do yourself a favor and opt for the total damage waiver to reduce your damage liability to zero. And in this instance, with this particular car rental company, it is $5 per day and work out to be 40 Aussie dollar for 7 days rental. And trust me, this is the kind of money you will not want to save. I had real life experiences of deposit being forfeited due to slight cosmetic damages. And if you Google it, you can find tons of such dispute between customer and car rental companies. I mean, regardless of who is at fault, you really do not want to get into such dispute, especially you are not even physically there to fight your case. Most likely you would have left the country and back at home. Another point which you would definitely want to keep in mind is to always drive within the speed limit. Australia is very strict about this, and it is almost certain that you will get a traffic infringement if you speed. And it is also a good practice to drive carefully abroad, as we are not familiar with the road condition. In general, Australian road is easy to drive, and this is the problem as tourists get complacent. Sudden change of road and weather conditions such as unsealed road or misty weather can be dangerous for those who are not familiar with such driving condition.